Okay. Hi, Professor Lobel. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here.
Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. As I was telling you before we got on, you are the first guest I've had on from Israel, which is exciting. So, congratulations. We
Thank
should have a
you.
prize for you or something for that. Um, I'm trying to think. We've had lots from the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, one in Singapore, one in India. So, Israel, we can add that to our list. That's wonderful.
Great.
Great.
It's always great to be the first in something.
Yeah. So you are a professor of psychology, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm professor
And
of psychology, and I'm very familiar with the United States because I did my postdoc at Harvard, and then I was a visiting professor at Harvard, and then at UCSD and NYU and Tufts University, and I spent several years in Boston. So I'm very familiar with the United States and have connections and doing research there too.
oh, well, wonderful. I'm from Boston originally. I grew up there. I live in
Ah, well,
Las Vegas now, but I moved from 2005. I moved to Las Vegas, but yeah, Boston's my home. So that's great. That's
yeah, I
wonderful.
know Boston very well. Yeah, we lived there several years, twice.
Did you like Boston? Did you like
Yeah,
it?
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's
Did
a
you like the
great city.
winter?
The weather, not so much, but I took advantage of the snow, which I was not used to from Israel. But I love the city.
Can I ask you just a little about Israel because I've never been there and I don't know anything about it, and then we'll talk
Sure.
about your book. What is the weather like there in the winter? Is it cold or is it
It's
tropical or
very similar to California, I would say. Maybe a little, there are days that are colder, but in general, you have many nice days that you can even go to the beach. And then you can have several days which are rainy and relatively cold. Never reaches in Tel Aviv, where I live, it never reaches below 9 Celsius, which is 660 something.
right?
And there's some more rain than in California than in Los Angeles or San Diego. But as I said, many nice days. When I came to Boston, I was definitely not used to the cold weather, not to mention the snow. And the summer is very hot. Now in October, we had a great month. The whole month, it was about 73, 75. The the beach was the water, there were no waves, and for those who are not surfers, that was ideal. We went every day to the beach and swam there till actually 2 days ago when the rain started.
Okay. Well, let's get to your book. Your book is called Whatever Works. Tell us just a little
Yeah.
bit about the book, and then
Here is the
oh, there it
book.
is. Okay, great.
I love the way they designed the cover.
I like the cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I can't take credit for that. That's the publicist, but it's really, really nice. Whatever works, the small cues that make a surprising difference in our success at work and how to create a happier office.
So
It's a
give
long
us a
title,
give
whatever
us a
works.
synopsis. Just tell us basically what
Yeah,
it's about.
this book actually is based on science. Everything that I write there is based on studies published in top journals, not my studies, are reviewed studies, especially from the United States, but also from other countries. And it shows you and it gives you tips and takeaways. What are the things, the small things that are right under our nose? Some we are aware of them, but we don't think they matter. Others we are not even aware of them. That influence how successful we'll be at work. It influence our performance, our creativity, and our well-being. So I describe the physical environment, like the temperature, the layout of the office, the colors in the room, how the influence. I also talk about the influence of the smartphone on us, give all kind of takeaways, how to be more creative, whether to express emotions when you are negotiating. All these small, the influence of our clothes, all these are influencing the way we are perceived, the way we perform, the way we are creative, and our well-being. For example, I can give you an example. I have a
Yeah.
whole chapter on nature. Nature, we all know nature is beautiful and we appreciate it, and that's not any news. But there are many studies that show that when you are stressed, and we are more all stressed more than usual now in this pandemic period, and definitely work is always a stressful situation, especially now. And nature has this effect on reducing our stress. There are studies, for example, that show that when they put one group of people in a natural environment, it could be a forest, it could be also a park, and another group was asked to sit or to take a walk in urban environment. Those who sat or walked in natural environment reduced their stress as measured not only with their self-report, but with physical and physiological measures like the level of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, the blood pressure, just by sitting for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or taking a walk in nature. So there is another study conducted in Stanford University when they asked students to walk for a little bit longer, either in urban environment around the campus or more in parks around the campus. And then they gave them to do some cognitive tasks. And those who walked in natural environment performed better and were less stressed. So actually two things. It reduces stress and it influences our performance. We perform better. So the takeaway is even you are tired, if you're tired, and even if you're very, very busy at work, and you say, I don't have time to go out and take a walk now, do it even for a short time because it will reduce your stress and will release you from your mental fatigue and you will perform better. So that's the first takeaway. But you can ask me, what if I don't have any natural environment around my office or around my home because a lot of people are working now from home? So there is an answer to that. If you have some trees and flowers, that will do. You don't have to find a forest or a beach, although if you have, it's great. But if you don't have either of that, to look at photos of nature or take an imaginary walk via the internet in nature or listen to natural voices like birds or sound of waves, all these were proven by studies that they reduce the stress and make you less fatigue and more alert and perform better. So just don't think that you don't have the time. Do that. Another study even showed that people who looked at a grass on a roof for 40 seconds, not minutes, seconds, performed better on a cognitive task than those who looked at a concrete roof. So here are the first takeaways, which are very easy to implement and will help you immediately, and people can feel that immediately.
I was wondering about that. It was on your talking point where it said looking at something green for 40 seconds will improve your attention. And I thought you meant just looking at a green wall, but you're actually referring to like something green growing, right? Grass, trees,
At that point,
bushes.
but this is a very good question because as long as you ask, I'll answer that
Okay.
regarding to creativity. There are other studies, nothing to do with nature, that showed that when you look at a green or blue wall or any object or the screen of your computer, something blue or something green, you perform better on creativity tasks.
Ah.
As simple as that. So this is, for example, this is very easy. A lot of time we have to solve a problem which demands from us to be creative. It's not something analytic that you sit and think this and this and this. You have to think and ideas come to your head. So there are several takeaways that I can suggest that they're all in the book. I will not repeat all of them because you have to read the book, whatever works. But for example, as I said, look at something blue or something green for even a minute or two, and put in your room something green or blue and look at it. Another takeaway is doodle, but not with straight lines, but with curvy lines. Or stand up and walk around the room in curvy lines. you will see, and there are many studies showing that it really improved the creativity of these people who do that.
It's an interesting paradox between digital technology. Because on the one hand, you said you can open up your computer and look at something green or look at something blue. The computer has the ability to play nice music or sound effects of nature, which can bring you more serenity and more peace and more better attention and focus. On the other hand, I think that the stress of having multiple computers and cell phones and kiosks everywhere we go to perform our daily tasks are actually not beneficial. It's creating the chaos. So it's sort of a double-edged sword with the
Yeah,
technology.
but when you work, you're absolutely right. But when you work, you do have the computer. That's something that you have. So within these limits that you have to work with a computer, most jobs, you work with a computer, and then you have to finish some assignments, and then there are more, and there are deadlines, and you're really stressed, and you don't have the time, and that's a situation a lot of us find ourselves, whether we work now at home or in the office. So I'm saying, take a break, even if you're sure you don't have the time, and do the things that I said before. Either go out or even look from outside from the window, and if you have a view, a nice view. All these will help, and all the things that I said. Look at so if you have to look at something green and you don't have anything out in the room which is green, open your computer and find some green. It will help too. So you can use it for your own benefit. But as you said about technology, I want to say something about smartphones. Smartphones are a great example of what you say, that they really are causing stress. All the time we look at whether we have new messages and the internet, and definitely there are many studies that show that they increase the stress and reduce our performance. So there is one study, there are several, but one which I really love and also has a direct takeaway, which is easy to implement and very important. They asked people to come to the room, and there were 3 groups, and to perform something cognitive. One group was told, leave all your belongings outside, just bring your smartphone and put it on your desk. The other group was told, bring everything inside, but your smartphone put in either your pocket or in your bag, wherever you usually use it. And the third group was asked, leave everything outside, including your smartphone, don't bring anything. And then they gave them cognitive tasks. Those who had the smartphone on their desk, even though they didn't use it, performed worse than the other 2 groups. Those who had nothing, not in the pocket, not in the bag, but outside, performed the best. But then the researchers said maybe even though they didn't use it, they checked, they looked if they had messages. So they told them, turn it off. And still, those who had the phone turned off, but it was on their desk, performed worse than those who didn't have the phone. So what is the takeaway? If you are working on something important, take your phone and put it in another room. Don't say, I don't look at it or turn it off. It's still there and it influences you badly. So put it in another room. If you're really stressed, after an hour, go and check if something important was sent to you. But other than that, put it in another room. And that was proven. So this is easy again to implement, and it really helps. So you have takeaways how to be more creative. You have takeaways how to reduce your mental fatigue, how to reduce your stress, how to perform better without the phone. And there are many others.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of somebody who's trying to quit smoking. And they put the pack of cigarettes on the table across the room, and they just keep staring at the cigarette pack. And rather than like remove the cigarettes from the room, because it just disrupts their attention to that. And they keep thinking, oh, I should be checking my phone, or I want that cigarette. It seems like it's the same thing.
Yeah, but with the phone, you can, even without smoking, you can still use it. You can look, you can stare if there are messages or something like that. And as I said, even if it's turned off, it distracts you, which people wouldn't think. They think I turned it off so it doesn't, I can see my messages, I can check the internet, but it still disturbs you.
What do you think is more addictive, cigarettes or a cell phone for human
I
beings?
don't know if I can compare it, but they are both of them are addictive, and
Yeah.
there is an addiction to a smartphone. For example, there are people, and you can see it all the time, that they cannot talk with you for 2 minutes without checking their phone.
Oh,
And
I
if you
know. I
take
know.
their phone and tell them, okay, today we have a meeting without the phone, it's really, they're really impatient. They're like somebody who is addicted.
Yeah.
So I don't know which is more stronger, but they are both addiction, and we have to be very careful about that.
I do worry about the children that are growing up basically born with a smartphone in their
Definitely,
hand.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
definitely.
it's good. They make great babysitters. I've seen many parents that give their kid the phone or a pad or something, and the kids are, they don't even have to pay attention to the kids. The kids are paying attention to the pad,
Yeah,
and
that's
they
the
make great
easiest way
babysitters.
for the
But
parents. Yeah.
yeah, but
It's
I don't
much
know.
easier, like it was with a TV before, but now that you have
Right.
everything on the phone, on the iPad, to say, okay, here, look, I'll do that. But you have to set limits to the kids, definitely. Give them only certain hours that they can do that, not all the time, even though it's very easy for the parents. In the long run, it won't be easy for the parents because it
No,
will affect the kids.
I think so. Professor, we have to wrap this up. We have run out of time, unfortunately. Do you have a website you'd like to give out? People can
Yeah,
check out?
definitely. It's like my name, as you can see here, talmalobel.com. And I have there all the interviews that I made, and I have my email address there. And I'll be glad if you read it and give me feedback. I get from my previous book, which was translated to 15 languages. I get emails till now all the time asking me questions. I always answer, so I'll be very glad. And there are very good tips there, really.
Great. Super. Thank you so much for coming on